close the door, take the trap, pull that trap out to the edge of the door and take the trap off the foot, which you really, you know, I mean, that's pretty, a lot of fun. But anyway, then after we got them to the veterinarian where they did the surgery on them, we would take them out of that barrel and run them into a squeeze cage, squeeze the top of the cage down, they give them a shot to put them to sleep, and then they would surgically implant this radio transmitter. It's about that long, about that big around, plastic coated thing, put it inside the body cavity, and then sewed it up and super glued the outside of the hide, and then after it woke up, we'd go turn them back loose. And they were tracking, they had called the students tracking them with telemetry gear to find out where all they went and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just a dumb old guy, barely got out of high school. I got to work on this project with all them biologists, and my wife worked with me. We got to ride around a helicopter and they track them things. That is a pretty cool deal, you know. But anyway, in the course of this thing, we worked for them in a month. We'd work a month in the fall, and then we'd come back in March and work another month. We radio marked over 300 otter on it during this project, so we was pretty successful. Unfortunately, the head biologist that was running the project, he died unexpectedly before they got done, and all that information, all that is sitting in a box up there in Columbia, Missouri. Because I don't know if y'all know, some of y'all may be biologists, but in that biology world, and if you don't get to write your paper and put your name on it, the other guy don't care. If it ain't your, you know what I'm saying? So that's what. Now they've got another biologist up there now that's interested in resurrecting all that. Anyway, so saying all that, we're up there in North Missouri. We worked in North Missouri, and we worked in the Ozarks of Missouri. Okay, so we was in that farm ground up there, just like y'all got over here, and then we down in the Ozarks, which is them rocky, clear streams. Like, and I'm from the Washita, so that's kind of what I got. So there's two things that every place an otter makes a toilet. That's in my opinion. Anybody that wants to trap otter, everybody catches them accidentally in beaver sets, and I understand that. Okay, nothing wrong with that. And sometimes when you set a beaver trap, you'll kind of know that you're probably really making an otter set instead of a beaver set. Basically, you know, everybody knows on a beaver dam, we're talking conibears here, that you'll have your main crossover in the middle. Otters will use them, that's true. But most time they'll cross on the edges, okay? So if you're setting up a place, you know, definitely set the main crossover, but look for them a little over, and especially what I like to do is get out like on frosty morning, and you can see where that otter come across there, or even if it's look closer where that silt is on them logs and stuff at the edge, you'll see where it's more slick. That's really where your 220 half in and half out of the water needs to go, or 280 in my opinion. But we're going to talk about foot trapping. So, and people are going to laugh at me, and in my opinion, the best trap that was ever built is the Sleepy Creek number 11 double jaw, okay? No doubt about it. And we rigged them up whenever we worked on that project, and I'll tell y'all, I got to look at these otters when they was asleep laying on the table, okay? And we were catching them, and we started out, we were just using stock number 11s, or they were double jaws. No shock springs or anything like that. And I could see where I had caught that otter and it skint down his foot, and you just have a toe hold on it. And the guy we were working with, the biologist guy, I told him, I said, you know, I've been doing this live market stuff, and I guarantee you that shock spring makes a whole lot of difference on what the foot looks like on holding the animal. So we started putting the shock springs on it. Now I'm not going to say that we didn't catch some of them otter just by the toe, okay? But if we caught that sucker by the toe, he was firmly by the toe when we took him out of the trap. If I caught him up here on the pad, he was firmly, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at him asleep on the table. I could examine him, and we had to. We looked at their teeth, and we did all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so that's really a stock trap with that shock spring, and that's one of them father trip shock springs right there. We use the Berkshire, this is standard Berkshire is what I use. and I ain't got a fast one here, but you know, obviously y'all know about that. Now, that was my driver that I used, and you know, that's pretty simple right there. And when I was coon trapping up there, of course, when we was working up there and started in 2000, so for about 5 years, you know, of course nobody wants to catch a coon now. But what I would do would, there's a little added bonus, coon trapping on this thing too. Of course, that country up there, there's farm roads everywhere, bisecting ditches and everything like that, and there's corn here and beans here, and the corn is still, they ain't cut their corn yet, okay? They let it lay up there and dry, okay? So coon trails are coming down the edge of the water, and you can get out and make 4 sets there at them crossings, you know, and have 3 coons every morning. I mean, it's crazy. But what I was doing was, that was my driver, but I took that in, and I just punched out, I'd come up 6 inches up the bank, poke a hole in the bank, and put shellfish oil, fish oil, mixed, you know what I'm talking about. Put it in, I had them 35 film canisters. I put cotton ball in that, had them in a bib of my overalls, and I'd stick that in the hole and squirt that fish oil in there, slick them up set, I call it. And shoot, man, you talk about murder on that. Simple, you know. I mean, and one of these days, me and you gonna get together, but one of these days, I want to do a test. I want to take 3 water bodies, streams, bio, whatever. And I want one person to set nothing but 1/60 square buckets. I want somebody to set nothing but dog proof, and somebody to set, I'd say 11, but if you like 1.5 poles, that's fine. And I promise you, the guy with the 11 will win.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
No doubt about it. So anyway, all right. So 2 sets we'd use quite a bit. Both places, up there in that country or down there in the Ozarks, you'll see where Otter come up there on the bank and made a toilet. And if it's sandy ground, you'll see tracks and where they rolled and squirted around there, and the whole darn bunch comes up there. And people talk about family groups. Well, okay, it's the mama and her pups, or it's them bachelor males. They all hang out in the fall just like buck deer, and so it ain't really families, okay? But well, sort of, kind of. But anyway, but like I say, one of them, the adult will get up there on the bank and take a crap, and everybody else comes up there and take their turn. I don't know how they figure that out, but anyway, they do. So, all right. So even on them gravel bars on them rocky streams, or up there in that country, up there in like here, at the corner of them fish ponds and stuff like that, them otters will get up there and they'll roll around, and on the levees and stuff like that, you'll see where they did that right there. And it's more muddier than I thought it was going to be, but that's all right. And I'll do this right here. I'll make one. You know, I'd really either use theirs or make one. Alright, so you got all that up there. Now, you know y'all seen that, okay? And there'll be otter crap on top of it, there'll be some strung out there like that. And what I would do would, kind of like you're making a cat set. I wish I had some peat moss, so we just do it just like you're supposed to, but that's all right.
Got a bucket in the truck.
That's all right. We're going to leave them.
I don't have any of the sleeping traps, but I couldn't tell you how many Victor double off I have.
Well, that's a good trap. Either one of them.
Yeah. And I think I have a few Blake and Lamb, but I couldn't tell you which one's which.
Well, they pretty much the same trap. Actually, them Blake and Lambs may be a little butter.
Yeah, they are.
Butter steel.
Yeah.
But I do have. Well,
So
that was my grandpa's #1 trap. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like I got all my strength in one hand.
So I always went through and picked out all the double jaws because I didn't like the single jaw.
So Sleepy Creek still making.
No.
No, they quit.
That's
They
what
quit,
I thought.
but that boy Southern Snares bought them. And they keep saying they're going to put them back in production, but they've been saying that for 5 years now, so I don't know.
I know I really like those Sleepy Creek conibear setters.
Well, I bought some, now Cumberland has got, I bought some Sleepy Creek number 4 coil springs, and I've been using them for front foot beaver catching. I like them. And they still got them, but you can't find these.
But if you're gonna buy any kind of foot hold, you know, small foot hold, you just well go on and buy them double jaws.
That's right.
It's all the difference in the world.
Yep.
Made a version of this set one time with some number 4 long springs and had success.
Yeah. And if the guy was, you know, I would say, in my opinion, I mean, Otter's foot is not that big, okay? And they walk kind of on their toes anyway, just like a mink. They're just a big ass mink is what they are. And so a good 1.5 coil spring, in my opinion, is all in the world you need for an otter. You know, unless you're strapped, I mean, especially if you're dry ground trapping.
Yeah, 450's hard on it.
Yeah.
I got to catch a couple of them 550. They'll hold.
Now if that's shiny like that, I usually do that up there. The only reason why I cover that up, Hank, if a beaver sees that shiny right there, he'll come up here and mess around. You don't want that, you know.
Okay. You've caught a couple like that?
Yes, sir. But I'll put a handful of otter crap on top of that, and I carried Ziploc bags with me. I really like to get some otter crap from another watershed to put on there, okay? Nothing else. I tried putting otter gland on there, thinking, boy, this is going to be the thing. Man, I got coons like crazy, okay? And I'm not saying you won't catch a coon in this. I'm not saying that, but that's all you need, man. I'm telling you. We were very successful with that. And you can make the set if you find otter sign. You don't have a trail or nothing like that to either, you know, you can build this set and catch them on a gravel bar or Waterstall Mountain Stream. Or
have you ever caught multiple at one?
Oh,
like
yeah. I'd catch the female and one of her pups several times, okay? And that was a chore because you didn't know who to get first.
Right.
You know, I mean.
Well, you see them tore up places on reservoir banks all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
you know, and you guys are in the woods all the time, and you know, it's just like coyote trapping or anything like that, cat trapping, whatever. You can drive around and kind of know where you need to be setting. You know, like on the reservoirs and stuff like that, and fish ponds. Wherever that water control structure is, that water's gurgling. Them fish are congregated there, and them otter know that, and they go there to fish. Now, I mean, you know, somebody was talking about earlier, a salient feature, just a lone something. All right, you know, when we travel in strange territory in the woods or wherever like that, we kind of find us a place, you know, to line up into. Well, somewhere through history, them animals done it. You know, their grandpa did that, and great grandpa, I guess, because you know, like you say, a place is good this year, next year, next year, next year, next year. So that was my favorite set. I could build that anywhere. Another set we'd use would be, you find where, especially on these levees, you find where he'd come up the bank here and craft, and a lot of times they'd be kind of strung out there, you know, this little pile here and yonder like that. I'd make a slick 'em up set. I'd take my knee and my boot, and I carried a tile spade up there in that country because it's heavy gumbo. But I'd make me a little trench up the bank, and I'd slick it down real good with my knee. It's like an otter been down the bank here. And I'd actually make, I don't know if it's helped anyway, it made me feel better. I'd make tracks with my fingers, you know, just make otter tracks in there. Like that, maybe 3 or 4 up the bank here. And I'd set that trap like he's coon trapping, right in the edge of the thing, and I'd look kind of at the bank, and you can tell, you know, I mean, I think the best thing, good trappers try to think like the animal they're trying to trap. You know, and that's the fun part of it. You know, when you do think like him and you catch him, you say, "Ah, buddy, I got you figured out." And that's the part of it that's good. But you know, I'd kind of look at the bank. If I thought the otter was going to approach from the right hand side, I'd put my trap on that side, and I'd use a stepping stick like that. Same way, I'd put it right there next to the dog like that in the water. And it's kind of like me or you. If we walk up here and I've got a 5-gallon bucket sitting right there, I'm gonna step on this side of the bucket. I ain't gonna step on the bucket, okay? Well, you think about it, that stop sticking up out of the ground is the same concept. An animal is gonna put his foot on one side of that stop is the other. Any question about that? I mean, it's pretty simple. These otter, you know, and of course they ain't worth nothing now like it was, but they'll get back to $50-something again. I mean, they will. I mean, we've kind of been flirting with that for the last few years.
In y'all study, did y'all ever get any idea what kind of range an otter had?
It depends on what kind of habitat he's in. If he's in that duck country, they'd be in your duck woods today, and the next guys tomorrow. They might be in a 2-mile swath around them. Okay. Another thing we saw, and I've always heard these old men talk about how said, "Oh, it's 2 weeks before they make their rounds like that." Well, and they had them guys had them radio transmitters on them. They could track them. And them college students one of them was really good at it. He'd go every day, find out where them otter were. And we'd had several otter out of the same bunch that had radio then. There's one place this particular place was a heck of an otter crossing, okay? And we caught I don't know how many there through the course of that whole deal. But in that thing, we had 2 good crossovers on it, and we'd always have it set. But sometimes that otter would use that crossover, and then sometimes he would hit the bank and go 1.5 miles down the levee, and then get back in the water, okay? So some of that old stuff about it being 2 weeks before they come back again, he come back, but he just went a different way. And he finally got back in the water. Now, on them Ozark streams, that stuff, they had a longer territory just because they was fishing a lateral deal, you know, instead of coming back and forth. And some of them otters, the mamas would teach them pups to raise them stock ponds, and some of them didn't, you know. And up there where we was in North Missouri, of course you take a tablespoon and dig a pond and have, you know, a good pond, you know. And of course they were stocking with catfish, and then farmers up there, they won't let nobody do nothing on the ground, okay? And so them ponds are full of fish. And I said, well, them grandkids, they play on their phone, they don't fish no more. So when it gets cold enough up there in the wintertime where that pond is freeze, and I know y'all kill game in the snow and ice, you can kill a squirrel and it looks like you murdered a whole darn family. Well, them otter get up there and cut a hole in that ice and eat a few catfish, and it looks like they wiped out the whole darn pond. So them guys are just raising much hell about all that. Down in the Ozarks, them guys would tell all them old stories about when their man and grandpa used to fish, you could catch a stringer full of goggle eye or smallmouth or whatever like that. Well, that was before all them rivers was full of gravel, okay? So the world has changed, you know, and them guys were claiming otters eating all the fish and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I don't know, that's just kind of where all that comes from.
Can you talk about the family dynamics a little bit more
Okay,
on the
so
otter?
the mama raises the pups, and there's usually 3 or 4 in a family. They get them all raised most of the time. Because you think about it, ain't nothing going to whoop an otter butt, you know. And I know y'all dealt with them live, and then I got bit 2 times, and all the time we were doing this thing, okay. And so that's pretty good, you know, record on that deal. But the males, like I said earlier, they hang out in the fall of the year up into the winter time, so then females start coming in season, and then that's when they start looking for them. But now the females actually will come in dead heat after she has her pups. Them otters have delayed implantation, okay? So she can be bred in January, okay? And she won't start her whatever pregnancy, I guess, until later on she'll shed them eggs down in her womb and start the process, okay? And they think the reason why they do that, if them otter, okay, so they're impregnated, but if they go through a dry summer where there's no food to raise their pups and stuff, you know, their body tells them to hold off. That's what they think that's about. But anyway, so the males, they hang together, and you'll come into a place, even during our trapping season, the males will still be together. That's why I got, no matter what, when you make otter sets, make multiple sets. Because you're either going to have the mama and her pup, and they stay with her till they're 2 years old, okay? So you got that, shot at 3 or 4 of them right there for sure. The males, same kind of way. So whenever we were doing all this, little family stuff here, whenever we were doing all this, my daughter started having all their babies. So I bought every kind of animal otter book you could get, you know, kid book and all that, to read to them little kids. And every one of them books always talk about the daddy otter raising the family, okay, which is not true. But the reason why people kind of think that, like I said, them otters and females come in the heat after she's had her pups, okay? So here she's in the beaver den, you know, an old abandoned beaver den, having them pups, and the pups are in there squeaking and carrying on like that. And that male otter's hanging around that den every day. Well, it ain't to take care of the babies. He wants to take care of mama. That's what he's about. So I could see where somebody could misinterpret that, you know? If you were sitting up kind of watching it. Any other questions about the otter set? Or?
I got a question.
Okay.
If you got a slick down crossover,
Yep.
you got a conibear, are they more sensitive to that metal sticking out? You need to submerge it completely and put a stick over the top?
Well, if I put it half in and half out of the water, I'll build my triggers where they're
coming from the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where you can't see them.
You can't see
And
them.
I try to kind of brush it in.
Yeah.
You know, even if you just lean a stick across it here and yonder and just kind of where it ain't that square frame deal. Because they learn that. Well, what it is, okay, here's what happens. You're swimming down the creek, me and you and your cousin, and you get whacked.
Yeah.
And I said, oh boy, well, I don't go around that way no more.
Right.
You know, that's kind of like beaver trapping. A lot of these guys will set the beaver dens, you know. Well, if I come to your house and knocked on your front door and shot you dead when you walked out on the porch, I've got the rest of your family ain't coming out that
they'd
door.
move out.
You know, so same kind of deal. Anything else?
I know.
There's, you know, it don't matter what kind of animal it is. If a guy spends enough time in the woods looking around, and they'll teach you how to catch them, you know.
Now you're having to anchor that down pretty good.
Yeah. That
We know how violent them suckers are.
Yeah, they and them things. What I like about them, even in them Ozarks and them tree roots and stuff like that, you can get that down in there amongst them, you know, in that gravelly old ground like that. They hold.
Do you ever use? I noticed you got a set of 3 swivels set up too.
Yeah.
Have you ever used rebar stakes or solid stakes for them?
Yeah.
Always double or?
Yeah, I double stake them, sure would. Cause like Kelly's saying, they're strong. There ain't nothing but muscle from their neck all the way to the tail, and strong animal.
So I stake down there in that sand country where I am. I'm gonna have to go deeper than that.
Oh yeah.
You probably be better off doing some oversized pogos.
Yeah.
You got the big round washers instead of the 2 inch.
You know, they make one of these that's wide, great big wide. It'll work. Yeah.
Something else I've used, and I mean that's a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
No doubt, but I've used drags.
Yeah.
Because you can find him.
Yep.
It don't matter if he goes from here to the other side of clear cut. You
Right.
can track it.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
destroying it.
Oh, they're chewing every limb, everything like that. They working the cows on the grapple now, I guarantee you. They pretty neat animals. They sure are. Anyway, so that's kind of about all I know about it.
So you can still find some of them Sleepy Creek 11.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.